Hey y'all! It's been a really long time since I've done a week of workouts video. I felt like they were a little bit repetitive, but I was getting some requests to do them again, so I'm gonna bring it back. I have still had a decent, structured split for the most part. I've lately been doing still 2 leg days, 1 upper body, 1 long walk or Pilates session, and then a functional full body day for the most part, but this week is kind of all messed up and we're kind of just gonna freeball it. Basically, it's a Monday right now and I'm starting with a functional full body day, which is usually what I do on Friday. This is null and void for anyone who's watching because it doesn't really matter. But basically, my fitness goals right now are just to feel my best, really take care of myself, and then really just maintain my overall athleticism. I'm not necessarily trying to bulk and gain muscle. Or I guess if anything I'm trying to lean out, but very little, nothing major. I just have honestly been eating a lot of sugar recently because it was my birthday and I was traveling in Bali for a month. So I could clean up my regimen a little bit is all. So this is really just my split to stay lean, maintain my physique, be healthy, feel good, and stay energized. I also have been starting to walk more again since it's so nice out. So I have been honestly really good on my walks. We're looking at 5 days a week on average I've been going, sometimes more, sometimes a little bit less. I did go walk this morning. I did a 45-minute route. I don't have an Apple Watch or anything anymore, so I'm not micromanaging, tracking my steps or anything, but I mainly have been walking for time. So let's go train. My main intention with these workouts is functionality and just working on athleticism, speed, agility, power, balance, all of that good stuff. So I'm performing all of these exercises in a circuit format. I did 3 full rounds and I started off with the first round was performing each exercise for 45 seconds followed by a 30-second rest, and then I did 40 seconds on, 30 seconds off, and then I did 35 seconds on, 30 seconds off. So here first is a landmine squat to press. I'm going down into a nice big squat, driving up through my heels and pressing up this landmine bar overhead. This is hitting our shoulders, our core, our legs. It's such a good one just to get your full body really into it and warm. Next, I went into some lateral bounds. So this is great for working in the lateral plane and also making sure we're working on explosivity here and also balance. So I'm basically, this big tube that I'm holding is weighted and I'm jumping from side to side, really focusing on my balance. It's kind of harder than you think. You want to focus on exploding to the side, working on your balance, and then being able to touch that pole to the ground once you're able to stabilize yourself. Keeping your core nice and tight is really important in this move. This I got from Pilates and they suck, but in the best way. I'm calling these plank knee sweeps because I don't know what they're actually called. You want to be switching legs halfway through. I'm essentially bringing my belly button, sucking it to my spine, bringing my knee up towards my elbows, and you want to keep your elbow really nice and high, so you want to keep them in line with your elbows. You want to keep your core really tight so that your knee isn't dropping down in your forearms, and with your core very tight, you basically just want to keep sweeping your knee from elbow to elbow. This is great for your core and really working on core stability as well. Next are Bosu ball jump squats. These are a great burner for the legs and also getting your heart rate up. So I'm essentially just jumping from side to side. I'm switching which foot is on the ball. Pretty self-explanatory. You're just exploding up, jumping from side to side. Again, keeping that core tight. And when I'm going down in a squat, I'm pushing my hips down and back, really driving up through my heels to explode out of there. Again, this is hitting your legs, your glutes, and you also want to be keeping your core really tight. Those are a burner. I'll tell you, your legs will be toasted. Next, moving into more of a balance and stability based exercise. This is a dumbbell RDL to a knee drive. This is a classic for me. I love it. So we're doing a single leg RDL with the dumbbell, and then we're bringing that non-working leg up towards our chest, sucking our belly button to our spine. Again, this is really working on our balance here. You want to try to keep a focal point to help you with balance, and this is also great with building ankle stability as well. After our rest for 30 seconds, then I'm going into pike push-ups. This is just like a normal push-up, but as you can tell, I'm in a pike, so my butt is intentionally higher up. I'm kind of making a teepee. This essentially is a really shoulder-focused push-up, if you will. It's also going to really be getting our triceps. So again, it's kind of like you're in a downward dog is a good way to look at it, and then you want to be bringing your forehead to the ground and then driving up through the palms of your hands to press up. Again, you will be feeling this in your shoulders and your triceps, no doubt. I always love to make these circuits really balanced so that we're kind of rotating through different skill sets throughout the workout. So now we're moving into another explosive exercise, again, to get our heart rate up. So these are some kettlebell swings. That's why my hair was tucked into my sports bra so it wouldn't whip me during this part. This movement pattern is similar to like RDLs in the sense that you're hinging at at your hips. So I'm breaking at my hips first, kind of pushing my hips back, which is allowing the kettlebell to come in between my legs. And then I'm exploding up and pushing the floor away with my heels, squeezing my glutes to really launch that kettlebell forward. Again, it's really important to squeeze your glutes because you will feel your booty cheeks burning. And last but not least, this was also another exercise that I did in Pilates, super important with any core movements. As you can tell, I'm tilting my pelvis back to bring my belly button to my spine to really activate and engage my deep core muscles. I'm calling this an extended dead bug because I don't really know what it's called, but essentially you're starting with your knees at tabletop position, your arms overhead, and then as you exhale, you're going to bring your palms down towards your hips. As you're extending your legs, you're keeping your core really nice and tight as well. And then at the very last minute of this, I also kind of held a little dish, kept my shoulder blades off the mat, really kept my core engaged, and just held to really, again, work on that core engagement and that core stability. And that was it. Don't let me fool you though, this workout was actually really hard, especially that first round of 45 seconds was brutal. This is when Laddie left me hanging and he didn't give me a fist bump until after he turned the camera off, but your girl was sweating. It was really good though. All of the workouts from here on out are mic'd up, but I did just want to walk you guys through my mobility and like warm-up routine before leg day because I feel like I haven't shown it on YouTube in so long, especially in a week of workouts video. So I'm still foam rolling, honestly, before every single workout. It just feels so good to stimulate some blood flow. It also feels really good just to help open up my spine, open up my chest, helping with some spine mobility as well. I really focus on trying to melt over the foam roller. And then I always flip over just to open up my shoulder joints. I will kind of roll back and forth as well. On upper body days, I also will use a band as well just to open up my shoulders and do some rotations. But then for more actual mobility exercises on leg day, I'm always starting off with like a low frog squat and then extending up into a toe touch. This is going to really be opening up our hips, but also getting some dynamic movement in our hamstrings as well. When I'm in that deep squat, I try to really focus on having my spine be really straight and not allowing my tailbone to kind of tuck under to get a really good deep stretch. From there, I go into kind of lateral lunges. It's not totally a Cossack squat because I'm not going as low. Again, this is mainly just to open up our hips as well with getting a little bit of ankle mobility flow in there. This one I love. We're basically just going back and forth between a low lunge and then just sitting back on our heel to get a hamstring stretch in there as well. So in order to keep this dynamic and fluid, I'm trying not to hold each stretch for too long, and I'm trying to get some movement in as I'm kind of holding each stretch. Again, it's really important to have dynamic stretches before we are going into movement to prep our body for movement. So again, I'm coming forward, kind of getting a nice little rotation, and then sitting back on my heel to get my hamstring involved. Lastly, I don't know what these are called. I feel like these should be called 90-90 rotations, but basically I'm keeping my foot out to the side so that it's at a 90-degree angle. My heel is underneath my knee, and then I'm rotating that inward, my knee inward, keeping that 90-degree angle in my knee and just rotating my hips in. This again is great for hip mobility. Happy Tuesday, you guys. It's down the second day of the week. This isn't my normal leg day. As I said yesterday, kind of this whole week is going to be mismatched from my normal like split, but we're still going to be hitting all the same actual lifting days, all the same muscle groups and everything. So today I'm hitting legs, and I'm actually going to be doing a day from my workout challenge. It's week 3, day 1. So if you guys don't know, I did launch a wellness challenge, and it has 4 weeks worth of workouts. All of them are unique workouts. Then I also include like a morning routine for you guys. There's an affirmations bank, a goal setting worksheet, a whole bunch of stuff. So if you're wanting more of like a structured program, I'll link that down below if you guys want. So first exercise that we're doing is a leg press for 4 sets of 10. I like a little bit of a higher stance than normal, so I'm not down here. I'm coming up a little bit higher, kind of like where my knee is in line with my heel. I also keep a shoulder width stance as well, keeping my belly button sucked to my spine. I'm trying to keep my back tight against the back of the seat, and I'm also making sure I'm not bringing my knees too far in where it's making my tailbone tuck. So I'm trying to keep my whole core pressed into the seat. That'll help with skipping out on back pain. Never locking out our knees either at the top. Last one. Yep. 10. Whew. Our second exercise is going to be on the Smith machine, which is this huge contraption if you're new. And these are going to be Smith machine Romanian deadlifts. I am going to be making these a little bit more glute biased today, meaning I'm essentially just going to have more of a bend in my knee. Don't worry, I'm going to explain it all. So basically, an RDL or Romanian deadlift, it is a hip hinging movement. So instead of thinking it as we're just bending over and your hips staying stationary, you want to push your hips backwards like you're trying to hit the back wall with your bum. And that's what's going to be inevitably causing your upper body to fold over. So you're not folding your upper body, you're pushing your hips back, and that's what's making your chest come forward. My feet are about shoulder width apart, and I'm going to be keeping the bar very close to my shins. So this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to have a bigger knee bend like this, come back up, and of course we're always pressing up through our what? Our heels. Amen. I should just make a t-shirt that says drive up through your heels, because that's what you have to do if you're trying to hit your glutes, you know what I'm saying? I am using wrist straps. These are linked on my Amazon, but these just help me hold the weight because my legs are a lot stronger than my grip strength. So I'm essentially putting the strap underneath the bar. I come over and I wrap it around back towards me and then kind of twist it like a motorcycle handle or a throttle. Feet again shoulder width apart. Then to get it off the Smith machine, we're going to lift up and tilt back, and now it's going to be free to move. I love RDLs, they're such a good exercise. They really help me build my booty cheek and my hamstrings. Exercise number 3, we're staying at the nifty Smith machine because we're already here, so we might as well squeeze out another exercise. This is a Smith machine step up. So I have a very high step up here. It's about knee height, give or take, so that when my foot is on it, I pretty much have a 90-degree angle in my knee here. I will say you kind of have to be like 5'6", 5'7" and below. I mean, I guess it depends on your Smith machine, but for me, I'm like just under 5'7", and I barely am fitting at the top of this. So if you are a tall girly, you can do a variation of this on the Smith machine. Basically, not the Smith machine, the cables, I mean, by holding a handle, having the same setup, but just doing it on the cable machine. So this is for 3 sets of 10. However, I am going a bit heavy for me today, so I'm at like the 8 to 10 range right now. So I start from the upright position my foot so my heel is right underneath my knee when I come down, and you really want to control the whole movement. So I'm not just bouncing down and pushing off my leg, I'm slowly coming down and pressing up nice and controlled through my heel, controlling the whole portion of the movement. I'm also coming all the way down so that this non-working leg is flat on the floor. So we're really getting a full range of motion. I'm a huge stickler about that because it's really important to make sure you're getting the most out of the exercise that you're already putting the effort into. So you might as well not cut any corners. Yep. Sometimes I need a millisecond in between legs. We can do 3 more. Yep. 9. Last one. Oh my goodness. That is an exercise where you have no other choice but to be your own coach and be your own cheerleader and tell yourself you're strong and you can do it, because man, those last few reps, I'm like, I'm about to disintegrate and crumble. But you have to remind yourself you're strong, you can do it, and you have it in you. This is clearly a quad focused workout because next we have leg extensions, which after those lunges, I'm feeling it. So we're only doing 3 sets of 10 here though, which is the good news. Also, it's really important for like the pad placement because or else this machine feels so freaking weird. So if I put it at small, it would be coming up here and that's just uncomfortable. So you kind of want the pad to be just above your ankles. So I put it to medium, so it's like resting in that crease of my ankle right there. And then also you want your knees to be right creased around the edge of the seat. You don't want to be too far forward, or honestly, I feel like I'm gonna break my knees when the seat is off. So this is like, should feel most comfortable. So similarly with the leg press, how you never wanna lock out your knee, I'm not coming up and keeping like a pin straight line right here with my leg. I'm coming up kind of like with the RDLs, where you kind of stop short, where you have the tension, but you're not thrusting your hips forward that I've talked about in other videos. It's kind of similar. So I'm not coming out and locking my knee. I'm coming up and stopping just before where there's still tension. My quad is tight, but I'm not completely locking out and putting a bunch of stress on my knee. This is definitely, your knee is still gonna have a little bit of stress throughout the exercise, but this will help minimize it a little bit. And then also a huge thing is we're not swinging it, okay? So there is a difference in tempo variety when you're performing exercises to either increase or decrease the difficulty. I tend to not slow down this movement overall a lot. I tend to not do that, but what I do is I still control the entirety of the movement. So when I'm coming down, I'm not letting it slam down and kick my legs up, right? I'm not like carrying all this momentum. I'm slowly coming down and I'm controlling the weight upwards. Could have gone heavier. We won't tell anybody. We've made it to the end of the lift, finishing off with another isolation movement. This is for our glute medius and kind of our minimus. This is called the glute medius kickback, believe it or not. I only have 2 sets of 12 programmed into this workout. Basically, here's your normal setup for a cable kickback, where you're coming square to the cable machine and you're kicking straight back behind you. Since we're trying to hit kind of the upper outer portion of the movement, what we're going to do is turn our toe out at a 45-degree angle, and we're going to also be kicking backwards at about a 45-degree angle rather than right behind us. I'm keeping a bend in my stabilizing leg. My torso is folded over, my core is nice and tight, my spine is nice and neutral, toes pointed out again, and then here we are kicking out to the side at about a 45-degree angle. I'm not using any momentum, I'm not kicking and having my spine curve. I'm keeping my upper back really nice and neutral, my whole upper body nice and neutral, and we are just kicking out, trying to have a millisecond pause at the top, again controlling the lowering portion as well as the raising, and we're staying here for 2 sets of 12 on each leg. Woohoo! See you tomorrow! Woo! And a thank you to the filmer. Officially made it to upper body day. I honestly usually don't train 3 full days in a row, but tomorrow is a holiday and it just kind of is working out better for our schedule today. So like I said, I am doing full upper body, so I'm doing back, biceps, triceps, shoulders, the whole 9 yards. So we're gonna start off with this high to low row, a personal favorite of mine for the back. So I have an underhand grip to grab the handles, and I also have the seat at a height so that this bench pad is coming right to the middle of my chest line. So I'm dropping my shoulders away from my ears to engage my lats, and I'm squeezing with my back muscles. I'm driving my elbows down towards the ground. Again, this isn't supposed to be coming from our biceps. Our back muscles, our lats, are supposed to be what's pulling this down. I have my chest nice out and open as well. And we're doing 3 sets of 10. Next, we're gonna give our back a break and we're going to go up into like a pushing movement. So this is just a good old overhead press, mainly hitting the front of our shoulders here. I'm doing it standing as well, just to get some more core engagement and stability in it. Biggest thing with this is I'm not coming out here and pressing at a T outside of me. I'm bringing these in a little bit, and we're staying here for 3 sets of 12. And I'm also not locking my shoulders out at the top. I'm keeping a really slight bend at the very top.
really controlling the whole portion of the movement, raising, but also as I'm coming back down, I'm resisting the weight. Next, we're going to go back into another back exercise, but this is getting more of our upper back as opposed to before it was hitting our lats. I love this exercise. This is like one of my favorites. So I have the cable set up so it's not as high as it can go. I have it a little bit lower just so that kind of the plane of motion of the cable is a little bit more comfortable. It's more like a slighter diagonal rather than being so steep. So I do put this down a little bit. And then I personally like to go on one knee when it comes to a face pull. Again, it's just more comfortable for me and I feel like I have better leverage. So another important thing when you're doing anything with the cable machine, you want to step back enough so that the cable is not already re-racking. We don't want the weights to be touching when you're resting. You want there to be constant tension on the cable. So I am coming out a little bit so that the weights are always suspended. I have my arms out in front of me. I have an overhand palm grip. Since we're trying to hit our upper back and then also our rear delts, which is the back side of our shoulder, we're going to keep our elbows nice and winged the whole time. So I'm basically going to try to be driving my elbows back towards the back wall. Again, dropping my shoulders down away from my ears. I'm not letting them come up here. I'm keeping my shoulders back and down. And I'm basically just trying to bring my thumbs as well back to the tops of my shoulders by squeezing my upper back, as always, controlling the whole portion of the movement, the squeeze, and when I'm letting the weights back down. And here we're going for 3 sets of 12. One more.
Unfortunately, I think the cord that connects the mic to the camera became unplugged, but that's okay. I'm just going to finish this up with a voiceover. So next I did a decline cable lateral raise for 3 sets of 10. I love this so much just to switch it up because I really do love lateral raises. And so being able to do it on the cable in a little different form always keeps things interesting and entertaining and more fun. So I'm basically kind of kickstanding one leg onto the other, holding onto the cable with my non-working arm, and then basically suspending myself. So now my body is at an angle. This is helpful just because it's creating a greater range of motion, which is going to then increase time under tension. So I have the handle attachment and I'm basically just bringing the back of my hand up towards the sky. I'm keeping a slight bend in my arm and I'm also not coming up past parallel. So you'll notice I stop when the palm of my hand is about parallel with the ground or completely in line with my shoulder. And you'll also notice that I'm not coming out at a direct T from my side. I'm bringing my arm out like 30 degrees out from me. It's not directly 90 degrees from my side, so it's a little bit inward. And I'm really focusing on using my shoulder to bring this weight up. I'm also keeping my core really nice and tight. I just love this exercise so much. And as always, I'm keeping my shoulders dropped down from my ears to really help and isolate the shoulders. Lastly, I finished off with 3 sets of a superset to hit the biceps and the triceps. So I'm starting off with a good old preloaded barbell curl. As you can see, I'm using an easy bar here, so it's not a straight bar right across. And I'm have my hands so that they're on kind of that incline part of the bar so that my palms are facing inwards towards me just a little bit. I'm keeping my elbows really tight towards my side. They're not flailing out as I come up. And what's always super important with bicep curls, I'm not letting the bar come up and flop into my shoulder. I'm stopping almost 3/4 of the way up, if you will. This is to keep constant tension. So I'm coming all the way down, coming up till like 3/4 of the way, honing in on that contraction and then letting it come down. And as always, our core is always nice and tight as well. And we're not letting our shoulders come scrunch up to our ears. And we're never letting momentum carry us through the movement. So I'm not swinging with my upper body. I'm going really slow and controlled. So the other part of that superset are some dips. I did 3 sets of as many reps as possible. If you need to do them on the assisted pull-up machine, please do. If you want to add a band as well here, please do. So I actually just realized I can do these just with body weight. So I've kind of just have been doing them more to work on them. I did about 3 sets of like 5 to 6 of them. So I'm keeping my elbows again in tight towards my side. They're not really flailing out directly to my side. I'm keeping my core nice and tight and I'm coming down till I'm about at a 90-degree angle in my elbow and I'm pressing up through the palms of my hands. And again, always trying to go slow and controlled. Hello you guys, happy 4th of July. So I was going to go on a little walk. I just had some cold watermelon in my teeth. They're like, feels so cold. I was going to go on a walk, but then a hike sounded rather inviting, so that's what we're gonna do. I haven't really hiked much this summer, to be honest with you, only a few times, like a couple of times, honestly. Especially because it's like midday now, and I don't want to be like beating in the sun on the pavement. So I think it will be nice to kind of have a little stroll through the woods. And I don't necessarily count this as a workout, I just kind of count this as some movement for my day. We can call it an active rest day, if you would like. It is now officially the last overall gym workout of this video. Yesterday I took just a full rest day, honestly. I don't know if it was because of the hike that I did, but also since it was the 4th of July, my boyfriend and I went to like this festival thing, and so we were also walking around a lot, and I was on like very thin sandals. I don't know what it was, but just essentially the ball of my foot felt like bruised the next day, and it really hurt to walk on it, which has never happened before. So I just was like, whatever, I'm just gonna chill, take the day off. I didn't go for a walk or anything like that. So now it's Saturday, and we're gonna be hitting legs for the 2nd time this week. First exercise we're gonna do is, of course, good old barbell hip thrust. You know, we have to do these once a week. I personally like to use a decline bench. It's just a lot more comfortable for me. It gets me at a good level when I'm up at locking out at the top. I'm very parallel. My torso is very parallel, which I like, so it's a good bench height. And also I don't need to stress about trying to get up onto the bench. I can just press up and I'm already there. I am trying to push a little bit heavier weight, but I'm still sitting around 4 sets between like 10 to 12 reps. Really, I surprised myself. I already did my first set and I was able to get 12. Also, huge thing when we're doing a heavy compound movement like this, where we're trying to give our all for this, you want to start with warm-up sets. So I already did 2 warm-up sets. I did one of just 1 plate and then my second warm-up set of 2 plates. A little hack for foot position: if you extend your legs out, wherever the crease of your knee is, you want to place your heel there. That will have good foot place, so when you actually get up out of this movement to press up, you want to position it so that when you are in tabletop, your heels are directly underneath your knees, or so there is a 90-degree angle in your leg. So to press up, I'm just pressing up through my heels, and that's why I love the decline bench, because I'm already here. Feet are about shoulder width apart, and we are scooping up with our hips, pulling our belly button back to our spine. Our chin is tucked to our chest, driving up through those heels, scooping with our hips to reach full parallel position here. The lockout is super important because that's the hardest part of the movement. Hip thrusts are definitely the movement that I'm trying to go the hardest on. Majorly, they're probably my most prioritized movement in all of my training routine. So for this, I'm really going really hard. It's challenging. Those last few reps should be very hard, but you still want to be able to get up to full hip extension, hit that full range of motion with good form. As you could tell, by the end of it, I was progressively not being able to talk more and more just because of how hard the difficulty was. Next, everyone's favorite, Bulgarian split squats. Woo. Just kidding, you'd be hearing crickets because no one likes Bulgarian. I kind of like them, but I also kind of don't like the burn sucks and they're so tiring, but then I also feel like a beast after, so it's like a love-hate relationship again. I've never done them on the Smith machine. This is my first day doing them on here. I luckily have this little foot plaid thing that my gym has, which is super convenient. If not, totally pull up a bench, a block, whatever, up to your Smith machine. Anyway, I'm like dying, but I also get like a second win from this because I just feel so powerful. In terms of form, I'm gonna prop my foot behind me, similar with the hip thrust. I have my foot positioned so that when I come down,
boom. My knee is stacked over my ankle. My shin is nice and vertical throughout the whole duration of this movement. So I always pretend like kind of there's a rod through my knee to keep it super stationary, because the only thing that's changing is my torso. And you want to picture it like an escalator rather than an elevator going up and down. You're actually going back and down. So instead of just going up and down, I'm going to go back and down and pushing my hips back again, boom. My knee is ending up back over my ankle, and then I'm coming up. It's creating a bigger stretch in your glute as we come down. This is going to make it more glute focused, which is what I'm always wanting. And then also with that, I am going to bring my torso down to my knee just a little bit. Again, my core is nice and tight. I'm doing about 10 on each leg, but I'm kind of going hard today, so it's like whatever I can get, to be honest. Maybe it's gonna be 8, I don't know. We got 10. Other small detail, when I'm going down and when I get to the top, I have almost like an 1/8 of a rep where I'm kind of squeezing my glutes to finish to bring my pelvis neutral again. And it helps also get a little bit more glute engagement. I'm like wheezing. I need to do more cardio, I guess, guys. Also, make sure we're hitting depth. We're going all the way down until our shin is parallel with the ground. And 2, as always, we're controlling the whole part, all parts of the movement, the lowering and the raising portion. We're going slow and controlled. Next, we're going to do a lying hamstring curl to target and isolate our hamstrings. For this, again, kind of similar to the leg extension like I talked about on our first leg day, the foot pad placement is pretty important. So here I have it on medium. I'm about just under 5'7". So again, you kind of want the pad to be at the bottom of your leg. All this is for this one is we're essentially going to be trying to drive our heels back towards our bum. And we want to try to do that while keeping our hips pressed into the pad. If you find yourself struggling and you're really arching your back or kicking your butt up to try to get the weight up, you want to lower the weight just a little bit. Or another cue is to try to actively drive your hips into the pad as you're trying to bring your heels up towards your bum. And we're just going to stay here for 3 sets of 10 to 12. There comes to a point where my hamstrings are just like, system failure, cannot go anymore. We're gonna finish off with a little superset. First exercise is going to be glute bias hyperextensions. We're really hitting our glutes here, but then also our hamstrings. And I like to have this at my crease or below the crease of my hip so I can get the full range of motion. Also important is foot placement. So I have my feet a little bit pointed outwards at about a 45-degree angle. And then I am using a weight. If you want a little bit of regression, don't worry about using the weight, just go body weight. And I'm holding it a little bit out in front of my chest. I'm keeping my chin more so tucked towards my chest. And I'm pulling up with my glutes and squeezing my glutes, and I like to pause for a millisecond. We're here for 15 reps. Also, you can tell I'm not completely overextending and coming all the way up. That's gonna put a lot of tension on your low back and make it more bias on your low back. Again, we're trying to hit our glutes more than our low back here, even though your low back will definitely be engaged and involved. Second part of the superset is going to be lateral lunges with a kettlebell. Again, since you're getting your low back is involved there, in order to help mitigate your low back being really fatigued when you go into this movement right away, when you go into your side lunge, you don't want to be pushing your butt out like that and putting a lot of stress on your low back. I'm kind of trying to tuck my pelvis and stay here. So again, rather than this, I'm going to keep that a little bit more tucked and try to keep a really flat low back here as opposed to being here. I'm tucking it just a little bit. So this is hitting our glutes, our glute medius, so the sides of our glutes, also our inner thighs, our quads, and we're doing 10 on each leg. I am pushing my hip back. I'm sitting back and down, kind of like those normal lunges we were doing, those Bulgarians, excuse me. And again, I'm pushing up through my heel. And I'm trying to not have my knee go past my toe, simply just to get a little bit more glute bias here and get a bigger stretch in the glute. Okay, and that's it, I'm dying. Now everyone, go eat a good meal to refuel. But that was our last workout of the week. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the last day of this week of workouts.
That's actually it for this video, you guys. Sunday, I didn't end up doing anything. I didn't exercise, I didn't do a workout, I didn't go walk or anything. Sunday kind of turned into a family day for me, and I just wasn't on my shit beforehand, and like I really needed to walk first thing that day because it just ended up becoming a really busy day with family. So anyways, the day kind of got away from me and I just didn't get a walk in or anything. But with all that being said, that is my full week of workouts. Obviously, every week looks different. Some weeks I do more, some weeks I do less. It just obviously totally depends on my schedule and what is coming my way that week. But I usually am very consistent on hitting those 4 training days in the gym a week. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys have any recommendations about what you want to see in the next week of workouts, or how I can improve, or what you liked about this video, what you didn't like about this video, definitely let me know down in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more videos like this and if you want to support my channel. And also subscribe, obviously, if you want to see more videos from me. I'm sending you so much love, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Peace out.